I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on John Gandy. John Gandy is a 19-year-old man from Waynesboro, Mississippi, who has been missing since January 8th, 2025. As of late January 2026, which is today is January 26, 2026. The investigation into his disappearance is ongoing, with his family recently marking the 1 year anniversary of his vanishing. John Gandy was last seen around 5:30 p.m. on January the 8th, 2025, leaving his girlfriend's apartment on Holly Bush Church Road. He reportedly entered a red or burgundy four-door sedan, possibly a Honda Accord. His phone last pinged that same night near Holly Bush Church Road. Authorities have conducted extensive searches, including draining a local pond in August 2025. Though no remains were found, tips suggesting he may have been shot and killed are under investigation, with evidence previously sent to the Mississippi State Crime Lab. That is all the information that we have on John Gandy. And when I say we, I'm speaking of me and my spirit team, because we are about to conduct a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic investigation on John Gandy. I am a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic investigator. Now, I did some digging and research of my own, social media digging, because I'm an investigator, and that's what I do. And I feel like they would solve a lot of crimes if the physical investigators did a lot of social media digging. And I'm not saying that they don't, but I do it for spiritual purposes, because I am a spiritual investigator. I tap into the spirits. And this is what I'm going to do right now. And you're about to witness a high-ranking Astro Oracle Psychic investigation. So please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my high-ranking Astro Oracle investigations. So I was looking into the social medias of his family. You know, once you type in somebody's name on Facebook, everything about that person pops up, even if they don't directly pop up. Even if law enforcement purposely deleted all of his social medias for legal reasons in court cases and things of that nature, I was still able to locate his family members who was tagging him, missing him all year, every month, nonstop. And then I was able to locate his mother on social media. Her name is Shay Gandy. Her Facebook is not hidden. That's why I'm giving you her name. Okay, she's public on Facebook. Of course, she's a mother looking for her son. So I had to do some scrolling all the way back years and years, because that's what I do. Tapping into energies and spirits and seeing, I can read one status and get a lot of information spiritually. Because once information gets inside of my spirit and my system, my spirit team goes to work because I am an oracle. I found John Gandy's birthday. That's what I was looking for. I know what day he disappeared. His birthday is not online anywhere. I had to do some social media digging for his birthday. So John Gandy was born September the 15th, 2005. He celebrated his 17th birthday on his mother's timeline, September 15th, 2022. So if he was 17, if he turned 17 in 2022, September 15th, he was born September 15th, 2005. And he disappeared January the 8th, 2025. So on the day John was born, the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Aquarius. And y'all know how I formulate time. Time is the sun divided by moon cycles. So when I put a moon in Aquarius in Virgo's house, which is the 6th house, Virgo actually comes first. This is a 6th house chart because Virgo is the 6th sign of the zodiac. And Virgo comes first. That's what creates the house that John Gandy was born in. John Gandy himself is a Virgo. So he is located right here in the first house of body and image. Okay? His moon is located in Virgo's house, which is the 6th house. Everything in red represents whose house it is. Everything in black represents who's there. So, the 6th house is the house of work, employment, the field, health, wellness, fitness, daily routines, and everything we do to take care of our existence, which was a theme in John Gandy's life, I see. It doesn't mean he was the healthiest man on the planet. It just means that he was very health conscious. And he did all he can to keep up with a detail-oriented life. So I also see in John's energy that a lot of his activity revolved around his places of employment and co-workers. John was also the type of person who got help from people and who also helped as many people as he can. He was a helper. So, like I always tell you, I can't look inside of the birth chart to see whether a person is missing or whether they're dead or not. But I can definitely look in the birth chart to see that if they are missing, where it most likely started, and if they are dead, where's the starting point that led to their death. Now, we do know for a fact John Gandy is missing. We don't know for a fact whether he's dead. So let's start off with where he started going missing. That's in the 12th house of every chart. If you ever want to find out what's hiding, look in a person's 12th house. In John's 12th house, I see Leo energy. Remember, the signs are energies. They can represent people, places, or things. They can represent dates of events. This Leo can be a Leo person. This can be a Leo place or a Leo thing or a Leo event. This could also be Leo season, meaning something that happened, an event that took place between July 22nd and August 20th, around those dates of Leo season. Energies give me a lot of information. So, Leo is the energy of romance. It is the energy of celebrations, pleasures. We all have Leo energy. Our Leo energy is the part of us that celebrates life. That's the part of us that is happy to be here. We make the best out of every situation. And because of that, we keep a smile on people's faces. Leo energy is the energy that brings life to any situation. Leo people are well known for being the life of the party Because the sun rules our Leo energy. And the sun is the life-giving force in our solar system. Now, when Leo energy shows up in the house of the hidden, that which is dark and unknown, you can't see it. There's more to what meets the eye than the energy that is in this house. So what I am seeing is that there's an element of Leo energy involving John Gandy's disappearance. And that element involves a hidden romantic relationship. This hidden romance, this hidden celebration, or this hidden rendezvous, whatever you want to call it, it's hidden. And it has a lot to do with playful love affairs, romance, infidelities. This specific type of hidden activity is a very mature activity, meaning this person was a lot older than John Gandy, or a lot younger, meaning he was the older person to a younger individual. Or it could be the other way around. John Gandy is the younger individual to a much older lover, because Leo is the energy of the lover. Leo and Libra. It's just that Libra is the energy of the significant other. That's the energy of marriage. One-on-one, serious, obligated relationships. Leo represents the romantic, playful side piece type of relationship. And I'm not saying that Leo people are side pieces. It's just that our Leo energy is not as obligated to marriage as our Libra energy. So Leo represents our pleasure instinct, what we like to do for fun. Okay? So let's follow the sun. The sun in John Gandy's chart is in Virgo because that's who John is, a Virgo. Right there. So being that John's sun is in Virgo, and he was very detail-oriented and meticulous about his physical appearance. Very modest, though. Wasn't flashy. But whatever he did, however he presented himself, he made sure it was well put together. You know, not looking like he just got up and just ran out the house without brushing his teeth, washing his face, or doing his hair, or just throwing on any old clothes. It wasn't like that. But he didn't have to be flashy to show people, look, I'm clean. I wash my face and I brush my teeth. You know, he was modest. And that's what it's like when you have Virgo in the first house. Okay? Now, I'm going to pull the chart of the day John Gandy disappeared. That's going to tell us a lot on this hidden romantic relationship and where it ended up. Because he was last seen leaving his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend is in the 7th house. Your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever, is always in the 7th house. And in the 7th house, I see Pisces. Pisces rules the 12th house. Pisces comes from the 12th house. You see Pisces right here? Pisces in red, Pisces house is where Leo is at. In the house of relationships, which is Libra's house, is where Pisces is at. So this was definitely a hidden infidelity. On January the 8th, 2025, which is the day John Gandy was last seen, he disappeared in that maroon sedan. That day, the sun was in Capricorn, because that's important. The sun was in Capricorn. And y'all know the sun rules Leo. And look at Capricorn right here in Leo's house. That's how I know this was an older person. Capricorn is always the older, mature individual. This could have been John to a younger person, a younger lover. But John could also be the younger lover to this older person. So the birth and the death alignments are automatically leading to infidelity of some older individual or a younger individual. Now let's find out and elaborate. The sun was in Capricorn and the moon was in Taurus. Money. Now, when you put a Taurus moon in Capricorn's house, which is the 10th house, look what comes first. Leo, that hidden romance. You can't make this up. Look what comes first. The day John Gandy disappeared. Leo. Now, normally I recently started pulling cards first. So it just so happened that I pulled charts first, but I'm going to pull 5 cards right in front of your eyes. I'm going to pull 5 cards, and it's going to tell the entire story of what happened to John Gandy. The who, what, where, when, and why. Now that we know this hidden romance, we're going to follow this hidden romance. We're going to follow this infidelity and see where it took us. See where it took John. 5 cards. What happened to John Gandy, who was born September 15, 2005, who disappeared January 8th, 2025? You were seen leaving in some maroon sedan. What happened to John Gandy? January the 8th, 2025. In 5 cards. What happened to John Gandy? What happened to John Gandy? In 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You cannot make this up. Some of y'all already started reading it, right? You can't make this up. Now, this is the story of what happened with John Gandy. Okay? There's a place, somebody's residence, a family, somebody's mother. Okay? Now, this person's place came out in reverse. Okay? He wasn't supposed to be there. Or we're going to find out, where's Cancer at in these charts? Look at Cancer right there in the 12th house. Cancer's right there in the 12th house. The hidden. Whoever house he was at wasn't supposed to be there. You see that, right? This is somebody's family. This is the energy of the mother, the home, and the family. Now, I don't know if this is John's mother. I don't know if this is his girlfriend's mother. And I don't know if this is the mother of the person who this hidden romance is, or the wife. But what I do know is that there is a 5th house person that came out, because John disappeared in the 5th house. That's Leo's house. Now, there's a 5th house person that came out. So there's a person in this chart. Let's look in the 5th house. In the 5th house, what do you see? Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a foreigner. Sagittarius energy rules the 9th house of foreign affairs. Sagittarius is also somebody that represents exploration. Now remember, this was a playful love affair. Okay? Now this could have been them exploring whatever. Sex, romance, whatever. Playing. Right? Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Where was Jupiter at? Jupiter was in Gemini, the local environment. This is somebody in that local environment. Okay? Now, in John Gandy's birth chart, Gemini is up here in the 10th house. That's Capricorn's house. And Capricorn energy is in his 5th house, which is where John went missing, in the 5th house by this 5th house person. Now, I also see a Pisces place in reverse. There are two people's places. Okay? There are two places here that John was at. And both of these places are in reverse. Meaning, somebody was under the impression that he was supposed to be here, but he wasn't. When he had somebody else under the impression that he was supposed to be at this person's place or this place, but he wasn't. That's why these places came out in reverse. Now let's look at this reversed Pisces place in John's chart first. That's his girlfriend's house. Remember I told you the seventh house is always the boyfriend and the girlfriend, right? Came out in reverse. Okay? Right there. Now, where was Pisces at the day John disappeared? Right there in the house of death. Pisces right there in the house of death. Right? And this came out as a place. This place could very well be a body of water. Pisces is a water sign. And when it comes out as a place in the eighth house of death, this is most likely a body of water. But this could also be a hidden place as well. Hiding. Let's follow Neptune because Neptune rules Pisces. Where was Neptune at that day? It was in Pisces. Where's John's Neptune? In Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is right here in the seventh house of relationships. But Aquarius, this is another individual. I don't believe this partner is the same as this partner. It just might be, but I don't believe that. Now, there were two sixth house cards that came out. And John Gandy was born in the sixth house. So let's look in this house to locate these cards, this event and this place. In the sixth house, look, you see Aquarius in the sixth house. We just got finished talking about Aquarius in the house of relationships. The person he was in a relationship with the day he went missing. This person came from John's sixth house. The place and the event. The place was the place of work. The sixth house is Virgo's house. And John is a Virgo. This was John's place of work, where this place and this event took place. Was John supposed to be going to work, but didn't? Now, in the sixth house, the day John disappeared, look what you see. Capricorn. That's the older individual in John's fifth house that he was in a hidden romantic relationship with, which is why John disappeared in the fifth house. He was with this Capricorn individual. You cannot make this up. He was with that Capricorn individual from his job. Now, when Capricorn is in the sixth house, that represents a supervisor, a manager, a boss. But this could also be a law enforcement worker. Let's follow Saturn, because Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn that day was in Pisces, the energy that governs John's death if he's dead. He's in a body of water. That could be what this is. But this is also a hidden place. A hidden place. A hidden place. John Gandy, dead or alive, where is the body of John Gandy? Dead or alive, where is the body of John Gandy? Dead or alive, where is the body of John Gandy? Who was born September 15th, 2025, who disappeared January 8th. Y'all notice I modified my lost and found deck because I've come to the realization that there are only 33 places, possible locations, that a body can be found in. And I articulated those 33 locations, and one of them is going to come out made in the image of the energy signature of John Gandy's body. Where is the body of John Gandy, who disappeared January the 8th, 2025? In a body of water in the north from where he was last seen. In a body of water north of where he was last seen. I don't believe John Gandy is alive. I believe he is in this body of water north of where he was last seen. So, for people who know about that area, should know what I mean when I say there's a body of water that's north of where he was last seen. His body is right there in that body of water. Now, this was about money. There's money involved because the moon was in Taurus that day. This was about somebody's money. And it could have been this older individual. I also see a foreigner in the picture. I wrote that down. Okay? Leo is the hidden romantic relationship with a foreign female. Could have been a male. We don't know. We don't care if it's a male or female. We don't judge people's sexuality over here. It is whatever. People have sex with whoever they want. They be with whoever they want. That's not important. What's important is there is a life missing and possibly dead in a body of water in the north. So I do see a foreign individual in the picture, and I do see foul play. I wrote all this down looking at the charts. And I also wrote sleeping with the enemy, because the 12th house is the house of the hidden. It is the house of what you can't see, but others can. We all have a 12th house. And if you ever want to find out the nature of your enemies and what people can see that you can't see, which is where other people have the power to lurk, meaning it's going on in the darkness behind your back, look in your 12th house. So in John's 12th house, I see Leo, that hidden romance. He was a person that should never engage in infidelity, because that is his enemy. And I'm not saying that he engaged in infidelity, but I do see that. Okay? Now, and his enemy came first. Now, in the 12th house of the day John went missing, I see a mother, somebody's family member. This is a family member. This is also, could be somebody's house, because this is Pisces' house, the 12th house. You see Pisces right there? The 12th house. And he died with Pisces energy. So if he's not in the body of water, he's dead in somebody's house. But I believe he's in the body of water, because that's what came out. That is what I wanted to know. And my decks are designed to serve me. Now, the moon rules Cancer. And that day, the moon was in Taurus. And Taurus is right here in Capricorn's house. This is financial success. There's money involved. There's money involved. Also, this individual lives in that local environment too, which is where they met. John was in pursuit of financial success that day. I wrote this all down. I see a co-worker, a friend, and a spouse involved. A co-worker, a friend, or a spouse, or a co-worker, a friend, and a spouse. Also, there's a supervisor, manager, or law enforcement, or supervisor, manager, and law enforcement, and. He met with a foreign lover in that same local environment. They had sexual relations. And the death was by water. I wrote that down. Look, before I even pulled the water card, I wrote all of that down. Death by water or drug overdose. Yep, death by water. Because like I told you, Pisces, most likely this is a death by water. And sure enough, the body of water in the north came out. And only people who know where John lived at in that environment know what body of water is in the north. I don't know what body of water is in the north because I don't live there. I don't live in Mississippi. But wherever John lives at in Mississippi, his body is going to be found in the body of water in the north. And someone's mother is involved. I wrote that down too. So it's either water or drug overdose. I believe his body's in the body of water, but I also believe he died by drug overdose. Also, Mars, which is the assassin, is in Cancer. The mother. Mars was in Cancer right here. So there could have been gunshots. There could have been shots fired. And John's Mars is in Taurus. Now, when the assassin energy falls into Taurus, that is also the alignment of a thief. And I see theft somewhere. I see theft of money. That's all I see. I don't see who's doing it. But I see aggression. Theft is by taking. Somebody took somebody's money. I see that. Somebody took somebody's money. You know what? I'm going to pull a crime. Let's pull a crime. Because there's definitely a crime involved here. Now, we know he's missing. And most likely we know he's dead now. But there was a crime involved. Because even if he went missing and he's dead, you don't just disappear and get killed for no reason. Something happened. What happened? What is the crime that is at the root of this whole case? What is the crime at the root of this whole case? What is the crime at the root of this whole case? A violent crime in the fourth house. Domestic violence. The fourth house is domestic violence. Yeah, the fourth house is domestic violence. A violent crime in the fourth house. Domestic violence is at the root. Somebody got hurt. Now, in John's fourth house, I see Sagittarius. Now, remember what led us to Sagittarius. Because in the ninth house is where the moon was the day he disappeared. Right? Now, the day in the fifth house that he disappeared in the fifth house, You see Sagittarius right there. So this domestic violence, this domestic fourth house violent crime happened in the fourth house. This is Scorpio energy, the energy of death and sex. Okay? There could have been a rape. Now, you asking me what the Sagittarius have to do with Scorpio in the fourth house? Because in John Gandy's energy, that's where Sagittarius is. That's how I know that this happened in the person's house who he went to when he left his girlfriend's house. Domestic violence, violent crime. Somebody got abused. Let's follow Pluto. Where's Pluto at? John's Pluto, because Pluto rules Scorpio. John's Pluto is right here in Sagittarius. Yep. And Pluto, the day he disappeared, is in Aquarius, the person he was in a relationship with. Something happened. A violent crime. It could have been rape. John could have been caught. Or John caught somebody. Did something happen involving sex, domestic crimes, infidelity? Definitely. There is a co-worker involved. If John didn't have a 9 to 5, he definitely did something for money. And whoever was working with him to do this for money or whatever is who I call the co-worker. So yeah, this violent crime in the fourth house was romantic in nature, sexual in nature. Now the fifth house is also the house of children. And the fifth house is the day that, the fifth house is the house that John Gandy disappeared in. And is most likely the house he died in. The fifth house is Leo's house. That's the house of children as well. Romance, playful love affairs. But John himself was a child. So he could have been the child that was attacked from somebody a lot older than him. He could have been raped, beat, shot, and then placed in a body of water if he did not do that to somebody else's child. And they killed him and put him in the body of water. Either way it go, I see what I just explained. So yeah, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Violent crime. Jupiter in John's chart is in Libra. And Libra is right here in the house of money. Something was being done for money. Something was being done for money. Somebody was having sex for money. I don't know who it was. Either John or John paid somebody for some money. And shit went left. Shit was happening that wasn't supposed to happen. Now, Jupiter was in Gemini the day that it actually happened. And where's Gemini at? Right there in Aquarius' house, the 11th house. Because Gemini represents the local environment, the neighbor, in the community that he was in a partnership with. See, Aquarius, Gemini is in Aquarius' house. So this is a neighbor in the community. Domestic violent crime. This is my reading on John Gandy, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, I'm sticking to this. Because there's truth all in this reading. And whatever doesn't come out in the wash will always come out in the rinse. John Gandy, Astro Oracle Investigation. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Y'all be blessed.